Thank you. Am I audible? Can you hear me all right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're audible.
Okay. First of all, I'd like to welcome the new batch of students to this orientation program. Welcome to this batch of 2020. A special thanks to Dr. Pramod Kumar for giving me an opportunity to share my experience. And thank you, Neha, for coordinating this program. I'm really excited to be with you, and it just seems like that I was on that side of the table like you guys, and in a flash we've spent 20 years. So I'm really happy, and I first of all congratulate you because you have made it to one of the best schools in the world. And so my topic today is the art of storytelling. And that's what I do for a living. And I think we will make this session interesting. And I will walk you through some interesting stories and hopefully will bring you to some key messages, key learning points for you. So if you all are ready, I start with this very interesting game. I don't know how many of you still play this game. It's called tic-tac-toe. A lot of backbenchers, and I'm one of the prestigious backbenchers. I've been playing this game since I was in school, and I played this also in college. It's a beautiful game, very simple. It's a game of crosses and circle, and played between two players. And player who succeeds in placing the first three marks, either horizontal or vertical or diagonal, wins. And if you have played this, you will realize that you have to anticipate your competitor's move. Before he starts, you have to already think, where will he cross? And you do it just the opposite. And you visualize that it's going to be a straight line or a diagonal line, but it's not that simple. It's not that predictable because you're playing against somebody. And I look at your and my life also like in this story form. And if you see, you have passed your school, you've done your graduation, you've given your written exam, and you've come to two crosses. And so far, it was beautiful, predictable, and simple. But your next move will define whether you win this or you lose it. So I started my life like this. I joined ISB in 2002 batch. I was the first batch of ISB, by the way, and we were a batch of 43 odd students. And so my life started with a cross right on top. If I show you right on top, you can see International School of Business and Media, established in 2000. This is where I was. And as I moved from my college days in the outside world, life outside ISBM, I wanted to be a hero. I thought I will be the best marketing guy. I will become vice president marketing. I'll have all the good luxury goods in my life, etc. And of course, it never pans out like that. There are lots of learnings as you go along, and there are lots of life lessons. So I want to spend the next sort of 40 minutes walking through this story with you so that when you plot your life journey into tic-tac-toe, you will realize how beautiful game this is and how you can plot your next move. Okay, so far? Right. So life at ISB, I'm talking of year 2000, and this is Viman Nagar, Pune campus, and there's a building called Ashoka Plaza. This building has only two tenants. One is a car repair shop, And the second is ISB&M, which has 4 or 5 rooms under construction. And we are a batch of students from all over India, some from South India, some from Assam, a lot from Madhya Pradesh and Delhi and UP and Bihar. So it's like a national integration. And it's the story of ISB&M that I'm most proud about. And I'd like to share this personal story. And this story is about having startup mentality. What is a startup mentality? It's the founder's mentality of having a vision. It's about designing a future and playing a pivotal role in it. It's about strength and unity. It's about friendship. And I'm sure a lot of you guys who have already passed and the current batch would have experienced this kind of phenomena. What an amazing, fun time MBA college days are. You are going through your projects, you're submitting papers, you're doing cultural activities, you are attending guest lectures, you're part of placement cell, and there is so much buzz. Life goes on so fast. And all of this is thanks to one man, and that man is Dr. Pramod Kumar. And I remember meeting him for the first time when he was just starting the college and nobody much had heard about his name. All we knew was, well, he's a visionary director of SIBM. He's an ex-XLRI, and he's a specialist in organizational behavior and psychology. And I meet him one-on-one, and he says he wants to create a world-class education. World-class. What an amazing vision this man had. And I'm talking of 2000, when the world was only IIM, XLRI, SIBM, and all such, premium institute. And there was no space for a startup. We were truly a startup organization. We had 2 professors, Dr. Pramod Kumar and Professor Choksi. And we had 1 chairperson academics, and we had students, and that's it. We're a small family, and we are trying to imagine the future. And here is Dr. Pramod Kumar saying, we will be a world-class education institution. We will bring in students who are holistically developed. They're good in academics, they're good in facing life challenges, they have a sense of ethics and integrity, and all of this can be nurtured in an environment which is full of independent thinking, full of debates, full of challenges, and nobody is right. But if you have an idea, you raise your hand and go for it. The college appreciates you to take leadership. College gives you all kinds of avenues to show your talent. I see a lot of people raising hands and asking questions. Is that a question or raising hands? Okay, just show me a thumbs up if you are with me so far, okay? Right, so here is Dr. Pramod Kumar in his 30s, a young startup entrepreneur with a vision to change how management education is offered and how he can change this landscape by bringing his philosophy. And we are all listening to him, and we are saying, okay, I like what you are saying, I believe in you, but I don't know how we will get there. Is it even possible that we can compete with the best B schools in the world? Aren't they a league above us? Aren't they really smart guys and girls who are made of different material? And how is it possible that we can ever compete or stand next to each other? And this is when Dr. Kumar did an exercise with us. And this was the first lesson I remember. And I will always remember this. This is imprinted in my heart. And this lesson is very simple. You have IIM, you have XLRI, you have SIBM, and you have ISBM, right? But this is the reality he wanted us to look at. He said, forget about IIM, forget about XLRI, forget about SIBM. In essence, he's saying, forget about competition. Do not focus on competition. Focus on yourself. Find your truths, find your meaning, and go after it. And if you have enough passion and enough aggression, you're able to achieve that. This was the first whiteboard exercise Dr. Kumar did with us. And half of the batch was in shock. We were like, oh my God, what is this? Is this even possible? And we were in doubts. We were saying, hey, this is impossible. Half the batch said, oh, this is impossible. This is never going to happen. How is it even possible that we are just starting? We have not even spent 6 weeks and we are aiming to, compete against them. But if there is one lesson I take from this exercise is that if you have the guts and fire in your belly to imagine the most audacious idea, you're able to achieve it. And this is what Dr. Pramod Kumar had led by example. If you think of startup guys who have changed the world, I mean, I think of Steve Jobs, a revolutionary, creative thinker who got design into computing. I think of Bill Gates. I think of Ratan Tata. And at the same breath, in the same page, I think we need to position Dr. Pramod Kumar, because the way he changed management education in India, nobody else could have ever done it. After that, many new institutes came and went, and many old institutions have declined to oblivion, but ISBM still goes on. And I'm so glad I'm talking on the 20th anniversary batch. So lesson number one, guys, I would like to propose to you is ISBM is a startup organization. It's not an MBA school. If you think you are going to just come here and study something and get a certificate, you are missing the whole point. If you do not reinvent yourself while staying in ISBM, you're missing a whole chunk of it. And ISBM gives you an opportunity to be a hipster, a hustler, and a hacker. These are three qualities of a startup mentality. What is a hipster? Hipster is somebody who imagines the future and he questions, why is it done this way? Why can't I do it differently? Imagine how Uber and Airbnb came from nowhere and disrupted this whole industry. They never thought about getting better taxis. They said, we're going to change this whole landscape. And that is what is needed. And for that, you need to take risks and take, a leap of faith. They say in startup language, you jump off the cliff and grow wings while coming down. This is a startup mentality. You question status quo. You look at problems everywhere and you find out solutions, how you can solve it better, faster, cheaper, more enjoyable. And this idea will always remain with you if you look at ISB as a startup. For 2 years, look at your experience as a startup organization. Okay? Raise your hand and finger if you say yes. Wow, 22, 35, 41 participant rate. Very good. Yes, guys, yes. And this is what I mean by joining a B school, which is not like any other B school. You could go to any other MBA school and get a 2-year degree. But what ISB will give you is a platform to make yourself into a founder. Okay, let's go. So here is my batch. Have a look. Have a look at my batch. This is the first batch of ISB&M. And this is Ashoka Plaza, Viman Nagar campus, okay? And we used to have one chai tapri below, and he used to only sell glucose biscuit, Parle G and tea. There was no food, there was no Burger King, McDonald's, nothing. And we would have to go 5 kilometers away to get some food, but mostly we were happy without food. The food was not an issue. And you see in this picture, you'll find managing directors, you'll find startup experts, you'll find chief marketing officers, HR head. You'll also find housemakers and homemakers who have grown up to be lovely ladies and people who have gone and done charity and social work. But one thing you will see in this space is everybody has optimism, they have faith, and they are ready to take the risk. Remember, they've already taken the risk. They've joined the first batch of ISB with no guarantee of future and with a director who has vision, but it's us, the soldiers, who have to execute that vision. So I've had some great friendship here, and it still continues. All of us have a WhatsApp group, and we are called the ISB&M Founders. And this is a group picture of that WhatsApp group, and it's active and it's buzzing and live with lots of information, chats. You know how WhatsApp groups are. And if you ever get a chance to meet some of them, there is one thing in common, and they will talk with this kind of passion and this kind of attitude that I'm trying to express. Our tone of voice and our personality reflects what we stood for and what we went through. Okay, so this was my first batch, and here I am in the right corner. And in the first 6 months, I did lots of projects, from placement coordination to cultural committee to corporate relation and competency development center. We had all freedom. It was a clean slate. Do whatever you want. And Dr. Kumar used to take our classes at night. So he would start at 11, end at 3 a.m., and he would go back home, change, freshen up, come for next morning lecture. And we are like, oh my God, where is this guy getting so much energy from? And that energy was derived from the passion and vision. We used to sleep sometimes in the college. I remember sleeping in the college desk and getting up, freshening up, wearing a jacket and going for meetings. So, of course, things have changed a lot for you guys, but this is what we used to do in our days. Okay. Now, this is me 20 years back. Okay. And this is an event called Mega Quest 2000. This was the first cultural activity that ISB&M ever did. And now you have Forza, and now you have such large concerts and festivals and fashion show and talent show, etc. But when we started, I started with zero. Imagine, it's just 2 months to the college, and Dr. Kumar says, let's do a get together. Go figure out what you want to do, come with a plan, and go to the market, collect sponsorship. And you see the kind of sponsorship we got in our first event was Nike and McDonald's and Pizza Hut and Domino's, Times of India, Electrolux. These are top brands during those times in Pune. And we organized something called as a quiz contest because we realized to judge your competition, you have to understand where they are at. So we invited SIBM, SCM HRD, Pune University MBA Pumba, and IIMM and ISB. I think 4 top colleges, and also SIMS, I think, 5 colleges. We came together at Blue Diamond Hotel and we hosted this program. I was always behind the mic, speaking, organizing, emceeing, hosting, and my colleague organized the quiz contest. And what an amazing high it was, because we couldn't believe we could pull through. And this is a hall full of people, corporate guests, event people, college people, and they were wondering, what is this new college up to? Who are these guys who are trying to organize this? Initially, they were judging us. They were saying, who are these small fries? But when we won the competition, we won the contest. I think we came a close second. And these are my batchmates, Anurag Mishra, Sunil Ingle, and Rajesh Tiwari. They were the winner of the quiz contest. And this is Dr. Pramod Kumar, as you can see, in his young 30s. We were on top of the world. We were like, oh, wow, what an amazing journey we've had. We've just started our college. We're going through a rough patch. And we say, okay, let's try and do an experiment. Let's do a startup idea. Let's create a quiz contest and see who all joins us. And here we get, and this trophy, I think I still have it somewhere in my cabinet as on display. And what an amazing journey, right? So this was the birth of Forza that you guys now do so well. And, you know, as we moved on, life was pretty exciting. We were doing lots of classes. We were getting some really good faculty from top schools. I got through Compaq Computers on a summer internship. And Dr. Kumar played a very important role in getting me that internship. And I got 10,000 rupees as my stipend. 10,000 was like 1 lakh today. I was the richest guy in college then, you know, and you get 2 months stipend. So you have 20,000 rupees. And you can imagine what you can do in that kind of money. And you're working for the best company, computer company, Compaq, and I'm doing marketing with a very smart marketing lady, Shudipta, her name was. And amazing journey. And then we are coming back, and this happens. As you can see, you understand what this is. You can raise your hand. This is a car crash. This is an accident. I'm sure accidents happen all the time. And you see accidents on road and car crashes. But this happened in January 2001, 21st January 2001. I remember this because we were in college and somebody said, you know what, there has been a fatal car accident and I think we have lost Dr. Kumar. He's no more. And somebody, it just spread like wildfire. People said, what? What are you saying? Who said that? Where's this news coming from? There's panic everywhere. And imagine just 7 months into our startup college, and the director meets with a car accident. Director is coming from Nagpur to Pune, if I'm not wrong. He's driving at night because he needs to reach the college in the morning. And it's pitch dark and he crashes into a obstruction like a pole and the car falls down. And he's admitted in the hospital. I remember seeing Dr. Kumar with a fractured jaw, multiple rib fracture, leg fracture, a concussion on the head, and eyesight partially just saved by an inch or so. And we are saying, you know what? I don't think Dr. Kumar will ever be able to walk again with this injury. Even the doctor said, I don't think he should be walking again or going back to college. Forget about next 1 year, 2 year. You cannot walk. Do not risk yourself. And if you imagine, we were young boys and girls trying to start our career, and here the director is on a hospital bed. We think our career is gone. We thought our career is finished. We can never come up from this. And there is so much doubt and anxiety and stress in the college. There were students who were saying, you know what, let's exit the college. No point hanging on here. Because anyways, nobody will come to the college. We'll not get any jobs. Let's not waste more money spending teaching here, studying here. And some of us said, you know what, we have nothing to lose. Anyways, we are down the hill. There is no hope for us. Why don't we just try it? Why don't we just fight it? And that's when all the students came together as a united batch. And we said, look, it's in our hands to save this. Otherwise, we are gone. So let's come together, find a solution. And that's when we started taking active part in running the college ourselves. We used to run college academics. We used to open up the computer lab. We used to clean up the floor. And we used to call placement companies for jobs. And we used to do cultural activities, all of it. And I remember Dr. Kumar teaching us with a fractured plaster in his hand and lying on the bed, teaching us in his house. And what an amazing resilience this man showed us. And we said, look, if he's able to push himself so hard after the accident, what do we have to go? We have to go more aggressive. And so this car accident became sort of such powerful image for us, and it gave us so much strength and energy that we pulled through. And within 6 months later, we had batch number 2 joining us. It was 2001 batch. So you see, from crisis to accidents to cultural programs to quiz contests, we've seen a lot in the first 6 months. I've had best of friends in ISB, and here is a friend of mine, the first president of the college, Rahul Savani. We've made lifelong bonds here. Friends for me are like extended family. And if there is something that I've learned is, if your friend succeeds, you succeed as well. So if there is a friend who needs your help, reach out to him, offer help. And I've learned that it's your duty to take care of your community. It's your duty to spend time and elevate your friends who are struggling. And if you do that, they will remain for the rest of your life. They are not your competition. They are your friends, and you can grow together. Unity is one of the most important things I've learned at ISB. It's the idea that together we are better. We are better than me. Together we are better. So I have many memories, and we have amazing fun, and we used to party, we used to work out, we used to study, and we have such lovely pictures. And I also met my wife at ISB. My wife is Munmun Verma, who's the second batch of ISB, 2001, 2003. She's my partner, she's my soulmate, she's my friend, she's my coach, and we've been married for 16 years. And more than anything else, we still carry that same ISB energy even today. We keep our relationship fresh. We keep challenging each other. There is nobody is higher than the other. it's about equality. And some of you will meet your partners, your future husbands and wives or partners here. And this is what I want to tell you, that it's very easy for you to have a fling or have a date, just a casual date and just get out. But you can also nurture a relationship and make it into a lifelong meaningful relationship. And so we still go a long way. We've traveled a lot together. We've grown as human beings together. She's an HR executive with a top company. And if you see some of the old brochures, you will see her pictures talking about HR values. And incidentally, Dr. Kumar loves Munmun as one of her top students. I don't feature in his list, it's Munmun who features. So you see my journey from 2000 to 2002, so much happened. And we are in the startup environment. We're talking about friendship. We've experienced love, and we've experienced accident and health. And this brings me to the next chapter, which is after ISB. What happens after ISB? You had a great time. You've got a good CGPA. You get a good offer from a top company. During our days, we used to have compete for final placements. It used to be a stressful time. And I remember going for one interview and not liking it, not getting through. I went for second one, I'm getting that job, and I joined Honeywell. And that's how my life after ISB starts. And this starts from 2002 till now. And you know how you have dreams and aspiration that you want to become a superhero or a superwoman, and that you will go and get everything in life? Well, it turns out that it's not so simple. And there are lots of crisscrosses. It's exactly like this game we are playing. Remember, you've joined the first part of your college. Now you're plotting the second. And this is what happens. From 2002 to 2007, after I passed out my college, I joined Honeywell, and I was doing communication in corporate communication department. And you see what the world was going through that time. There was Twin Tower attack on America. Al-Qaeda hits the Twin Towers. And I remember watching this visual when the whole Twin Tower is coming down in dust and smoke. And I'm thinking, oh my God, we are gone. Our career is gone. The world is in kind of recession. And there's a Y2K bug that time. This was a computer bug that was supposed to create havoc in the world. People said the world is going to come to an end because computer systems will suddenly stop overnight, and there'll be so much chaos in the system that airplanes will come crashing down. Can you imagine airplanes coming crashing down? Banks would be shut down and people would be looting. And this is a Time magazine headline, the end of the world. And at the same time, I am enjoying a chilled bottle of beer. Can you see Kingfisher beer? Raise your hand if you like Kingfisher beer. I want to see this. I'm sure I'll get a lot of highs. Come on, more than that, more. Yeah, now we're talking. See, exactly like you. I love Kingfisher. There is nothing better than a chilled bottle of Kingfisher beer, sitting in a music lounge and enjoying nice music, relaxing with your friends. And this is a really important lesson I want to leave you with. And that lesson is, beer is a state of mind. Alcohol is a state of mind, right? If you have 2 bottles of beer, you enjoy it. If you have 3 bottles of beer, you're ecstatic. But if you have the 4th bottle, you will have a headache and a hangover. How many of you have experienced hangover after drinking too many beers or alcohol? Yeah, I know, I know. And and this is one of the qualification for you to join ISB. If you join ISB, you need to know how to drink. So I learned the hard way, by the way. I learned the hard way. I thought I can really drink well. I have good years of practice. And here I go to my first international trip to Germany. And my boss takes me out for nice beer. And you know, Germans can drink a lot of beer. And if you think Indians can drink beer, Germans can drink 2 times more and still be fresh the next day. And I remember my boss, Doris Grammer, taking us out, nice atmosphere, great food. And I'm in my elements, drinking. It's late at night. And next morning, I had a very important presentation. It was a strategy presentation I had to give. And when I reached back to my hotel room, I was in splitting headache. I was throwing up. I had huge hangover. And when I woke up next morning, I was panicking. I was like, oh my God, now what do I do? How do I present my case? So I took a hot shower. I went and did some running on the treadmill. I popped a medicine and somehow I could manage, but my headache still remained. And I realized, why the hell did I drink that last beer? Why couldn't I say no to the last one? Had I not, had that last beer, I could have still been fresh and done. Luckily for me, I had practiced my slides, so I went along with the presentation and it went very well. But that day I learned the biggest lesson. And that lesson is, learn when to say no. And it comes with a lot of self-awareness and practice. It's very easy to get carried away and say, oh, thoda jada ho gaya. Oh, I forgot it. Oh, I'm so sorry. I forgot I could not do this. And remember, your brand is built on trust. If you don't show up to the next morning meeting and say, oh, I'm not feeling well, you can forget about your career in corporate life. Because if you cannot stick to your commitment and deliver, nobody will ever trust you again. So this is a very fine balance. I want you guys to experiment and learn yourself. It's great to have fun, but it's also great to say no when it really matters. Okay, so far, let's go. And this is 2007 to 2014. This is a great time in the world. You know, there is global financial crisis. There is a mortgage crisis, subprime crisis in the US. World is hit by SARS and virus. If you think COVID-19 has just come in, SARS is the grandfather of COVID-19. And I've seen this era when people were panicking and they were wearing masks and they were putting handkerchief. There was no mask then. They used to put handkerchief. And this part of the world, especially Singapore, Hong Kong, China, was very badly affected. Apart from SARS, there was also Great Depression in the economy. People were losing jobs, businesses were being shut down. There were people who were committing suicide, corporate executives who were doing so well and yet committing suicide because they lost all their money in the stock exchange. I know of a case when an elderly couple lost all their savings and they were bankrupt. And so these kind of stories have always been there and will continue to exist even in future. But this is what I experienced emotionally. And this is a time when my journey as a person is also on a different high. By now, I am a top executive with a big company. I am traveling globally. I'm meeting some really smart people. And somehow I've forgotten about ISB till here because I feel ISB has got me this platform and now it's up to me to go forward. And I'm meeting IIM guys and I'm thinking, wow, Dr. Kumar wrote this IIM and XLRI, and here I am. And I realized that, hey, he's not any special. He's like me, there's nothing different. And you will realize this on this journey that after a point, it's your attitude that really counts. And it's how you show up and what you stand for really matters. This is a time when I'm exercising and I'm running marathon because marathons are cool. I'm running 42 kilometers of marathon. I'm playing football. I'm playing squash. I'm doing swimming. And without warning, without any warning, boom, I get a heart attack. While playing squash, I get a heart attack, a massive cardiac arrest in my left ventricle, the main pumping chamber of my heart. And thanks to my wife, my soulmate, my partner who I met at ISB, she takes me to the hospital and I go through a process where they treat me. And if you see this picture, can you see this picture, me on the left corner? Yes, this is Mount Elizabeth Hospital. And I'm a young guy. Remember, I'm just passed out of ISB and it's just about 6-7 years. And I'm in my mid-level career. And I'm now sitting in this hospital reading a book called Man's Search for Meaning. If you take this note, I highly recommend you read this book. It's about a man called Viktor Frankl, who was in Nazi concentration camp. He was a Jew who was captured by the Germans, and he was doing lots of hard labor. And he talks about how you can find meaning in tough situation. And I'm reading this book and I'm trying to reimagine and discover myself. But till now, whatever my brand personality was, it was all getting shattered. I was in crisis. I was, I had doubts. I used to think I can never recover back, never recover. I'm done. My story is finished. And then I remember Dr. Kumar, when he met with an accident back in 2001, how did he react? He was so optimistic. He was saying, you know what, 3 months I'll be able to walk. In fact, he started walking within a month and a half against doctor's advice. And he healed and he recovered. And that gave me a lot of inspiration. I started looking inward. I started realizing that I was overexerting myself. I was not in a flow. I was excessive exercise, excessive stress, and bad lifestyle got me here. And I realized that life needs to be in a perfect balance, beautiful balance. It's not like you need to have work-life balance. You need to have everything in a perfect balance. And that happens when you eat well, when you take care of your body well, when you think clearly, when you meditate, when you give back. These are things that heal you. Remember, there's no point becoming the CEO of a top company and crashing in 6 months. There are so many cases you hear the top executives dying in an office. It's not worth it. So, and at the same time, if you know how to strike this beautiful balance between different elements, you'll be able to play this well. This is also a lesson for me where I realized about crisis. Every crisis is a huge opportunity for you to reinvent yourself, reimagine yourself, and you've got to have resilience. If there is one muscle you need to build after college or during college, it's resilience. And resilience is not about being macho, strong, muscular. It's about focusing your attention where it matters, connecting with your own self and trying to heal yourself internally. So this was my life crisis, and I've taken a lot of learnings from Dr. Kumar here. And if you look at the next chapter, raise your hands if you have an iPhone. How many of you have an iPhone or a new smartphone? Yes, yes, I know. I know a lot of you would have it. But you know, for me, this was my first smartphone, iPhone 4. In fact, I've had iPhone 3 as well, but it was a very bad phone, but fourth generation. And during this time, Steve Jobs died. I remember, I think it was 2005. Steve Jobs, who's my favorite, entrepreneur, dies, and the whole world is saying, you know what, Apple is never going to be Apple again because Steve Jobs is not there. How the hell can Apple ever survive? There is Samsung. Raise your hand if you have a Samsung phone. How many of you have Samsung? Yes. Yeah, I know. The world is divided between these two brands. So Samsung is coming up with fancy features, bigger screen, great music, great camera. And iPhone is kind of declining, and Steve Jobs is dead. And this is the same time that digital disruption is happening in the world. Airbnb, Uber, Google, Facebook, Twitter, these are all companies that have suddenly become billion-dollar enterprise. The way marketing is done is so different from what I had learned. I had learned the 4P of marketing by Philip Kotler. It was not relevant anymore. This was the era of digital marketing. It was about creating unique consumer experiences. It was about finding the and smallest of detail and pivoting and creating a business idea around it. There was social media, there was Facebook and Instagram, and there's so many performance marketing. And I realized that, hey, I have somehow missed the boat, missed the party. I was still doing traditional marketing in the old school way, and the market has shifted. I was so concerned. I was like, oh my God, what am I doing? What do I really bring to the table? What are my skills? What can I really go back to? Remember, my journey from MBA school till now has gotten me here. But what got me here won't bring me to the next level. So I had to reimagine myself, rethink. And again, back to the drawing board and back to a big vision exercise. What is Nimish Verma, the brand? What can Nimish Verma offer? And I realized that all along, I've been a great storyteller. I've always told stories at home, with families, with friends, in office, because human beings remember stories. And and you'll realize, end of this presentation, you'll remember a lot of stories. Human beings don't remember data and charts and facts. They remember emotional stories. And I realized that this is what I'm good at. I tell stories. And as the world evolves and becomes more automated, and computers and data scientists and analytics, there is a need for human intervention in marketing. Somebody who can tell marketing stories emotionally to people. And that's what I stand for. Today, from a startup marketing expert to a storyteller, I have gone through a major transformation, major journey through lots of pivoting. And if there is one thing I want you to remember from this slide is in future, your jobs will be taken away by computers, by machines, by robots. And you will face similar challenge. You will realize, oh my God, what do I do? If a computer can do better job than me, what is my use? And in order to find this answer, you have to always be curious. You have to see what are the major trends happening in the world. Then you have to look at which industry are you in, what's happening in that industry, and how can you as an individual brand change it. Either you go and destroy it and create your unique idea, or you be part of it and specialize in a special thing. And so always dig deep, always ask why not. You always read, learn, unlearn. Remember, whatever you've learned in your MBA or in your graduation, it's all gone now. And what you will learn in MBA will be redundant in 2 years. So you have a window of 2 years. And if this lesson is, if there is anything in this lesson and story so far, is that life is never a straight line, never a straight line. It's a crisscross, it's a juggle up, it's up and down, and you will, in this process, go through a lot of crisis, and this crisis is external and internal. And if you are able to center and look at it, internalize it, you can create and reinvent yourself. Okay? Raise your finger, raise your hand if you're with me so far. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, let's go to the next part of the story. So you see, the crisscross game we've played, we did the ISB, we did post ISB, and we did the life lessons. And if there are 3 life lessons I've learned in last 20 years, it's about being alive and present is the most important thing. Being alive and present. Wherever you are, whoever you are with, you're 100%. You're paying attention. You're making eye contacts. You are smiling. You're listening. You are exchanging energy. And this will let you enjoy whatever you're doing. Even if you're in a tough situation, if you're present, you will feel beauty in it. And I believe attitude defines your altitude. In the process of last 20 years, I have worked with some really intelligent, creative bosses. I've worked with some path-breaking startup guys, and I've worked with some really special human beings. And there's only one thing that defines them and differentiates them, and that's attitude. And attitude is a continuous process, and it evolves as you go. And for me, my attitude is all about gratitude, because I am nothing alone, but in an entire community. If I am connected with everybody, I'm thankful to everybody, I can make a difference. So it's not individual me, it's we. And this attitude I bring to my work, I bring to my football team, I bring to my home. I bring this idea everywhere I go, that it's all about gratitude. So here is a beautiful picture of mine sitting in Santorini. This is a beautiful island in Greece, Santorini. And I'm sitting on a top of a hill, and I'm imagining who Nimish Verma is. Raise your hand if you like this picture. This is shot by a professional photographer. It's for my Instagram profile because I have a very active Instagram account. So, but this idea is about being present wherever you are. And if you see, being present is about physically emotionally and spiritually being connected to yourself. It's about who you are and what you stand for. Who you are, why are you here, and what you stand for. These are three questions you have to continuously ask yourself as you move on. And here I'm trying to meditate in Greece, and I'm asking myself, what are those three values that I bring to the table? One is Nimish Verma, the professional, who's about storytelling, who's about digital marketing, who's about creative ideas. But there is a Nimish Verma as a human being. What does he bring to the table? Is he a kind person? Is he a honest and genuine person? Is he humble or he is aggressive? What are those values that people will talk about him behind his back? Those are very important as well. You don't want to be a successful CEO who people hate and bitch. You have to be a beautiful person. And by the way, you're great at work, great at life, great at home, great at sports. And this is what I mean by being present. This is my journey. I stay present in everything I do. Currently, I'm going through this COVID crisis like all of you. I'm taking time out to think back and see how do I now change myself after COVID, what values do I bring? And this is a lifelong process. So I'm a lifelong student. I never graduated from ISB. I'm still in ISB mode. I'm still a startup guy. I still try to reimagine and revision. And that keeps me fresh. So this is what I mean by being present. Look at this picture. There are 5 nationalities. There is an Australian, there is an American, there's a Chinese, there's a Vietnamese, and an Indian. And this is what I mean by an attitude of a community. Who would have imagined a student from ISB Viman Nagar campus hanging out with some top executives, some senior executives, but they are attracted because of your personal attitude, because of what you bring. And this is a party we were going to, and I was playing James Bond, and these are all my James Bond girls. But this is what you will experience in your life as well. Raise your hand if you like this picture. Yeah. So attitude defines your altitude, and this is what is going to stay with you forever. Be humble, be sweet, be genuine, be honest, always learn from the other people. And when you do, and when you are present, everybody likes you. And if everybody likes you, you grow. Like I said, gratitude is my only attitude. This is my birthday party, and I'm sure you will have birthday parties and you will do lots of dancing, etc. But this is my birthday party where so many people from all over the world came together to celebrate. And there is family, there's friends, there are colleagues, there are bosses, and everybody all together on one platform. And if there is one picture about gratitude, it's this. And when you realize that you're a small part of this big cosmos, you will realize that it's only gratitude that you have. I have gratitude for Dr. Kumar. I have gratitude for Professor Choksi. I have gratitude for all my bosses and my peers and my friends and my family. Because it's because of them I am who I am. It's because of them. So if there is one lesson you want to start with, is thank your parents for giving you an opportunity. Thank your friends for being with you. Thank your colleagues and peers for supporting you and even criticizing you. Okay, so I now want to bring it all together, close it up together. Remember, we talked about the tic-tac-toe game. And sitting on the back bench, you've been playing this game without realizing that you can tell stories using this. And if you realize that it's never a straight line as you have planned, but if you have certain blocks and crosses, and those are around keeping startup mentality always in your head, always be a startup founder. Never settle down. Never think, oh, I've got the job, now I'm all fine, nobody can take it away from me. Always find your muscle of resilience is when you face crisis like COVID-19 or a health crisis, or you will have financial crisis, or you will lose your friends or family. You will always have to be resilient. And remember, you are the hero of your own life. You are the director, you are the actor, you are the dancer of your movie, and you are the superhero. So if you are a superman or a woman, what kind of story would you create? It's all up to you. Life is never a straight line. And I would like to conclude by saying life at ISBM is a startup. It's not an MBA college. Hustle till you make it here and remain with this idea for the rest of your life. Don't look at it as an MBA, 2 years MBA and go. Life outside of ISBM is a blank canvas. You can create magic here. And you can create magic when you are a part of a community, when you are together with your friends, your colleagues. It's not about me, it's about us. It's about we. Always have that attitude and continue to ask yourself, who are you? What do you stand for? And why are you here? And now it's over to you, students. I leave the next chapter of the story back to you. The world as we know it has ended, and you are just starting your life. And your tic-tac-toe game starts now. So enjoy yourself, and thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your such a beautiful insight that you gave to the students. I'm sure they have learned a lot from this session. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Moving forward, we proceed our schedule. I repeat, we'll proceed our schedule for the day with another energetic workshop conducted by our faculty. You can join the workshop through the link shared to you over email, and you may leave this meeting now. Thank you.
Student, please leave the this meeting. Okay, and you're supposed to join